We were all taught to think in a certain way, and that thinking has driven behavior that's ultimately, at the moment, contributing to crashing our system. Nobody intended for it to happen. We don't wake up every morning and say, let's undermine the system's ability to sustain our life. We go to Einstein. You remember when he said the significant problems we face cannot be solved with the same level of thinking we used to create them in the first place? So what is that different way of thinking? Creative thinking and lateral thinking and systems thinking, we believe, are two innovative ways of thinking that can contribute to turning the ship around. And we're going to have to think differently in order to create the structures and the patterns that ultimately get us down a different road and to different results. Most people have access to that data. We teach about it in schools all the time. But for some reason, the frames were still driving the behavior, not the data. Being informed doesn't necessarily change behavior unless you link it to a whole lot of other things. Live by the natural laws. They're non-negotiable, so you might as well. What are the operating instructions for this planet? Most people have no idea. That is something that every high school graduate ought to know. What are the basic science principles and natural laws? What are they? And then how do we act accordingly? There's no such place as a way. Matter and energy do not appear or disappear. Cannot be created or destroyed. Because that's kind of basic. Where do we throw things every day? We throw things to a place that doesn't exist. Healthy systems have limits. Tap the power of limits. So instead of thinking of limits as a constraint or something we want to ignore or exceed all the time, how about finding out what they are and then tapping the power of them? There's a reason why limits exist in a healthy system. And we like to say, don't confuse the mental model of scarcity with the reality of limits. Because scarcity drives hoarding behavior. Understanding what limits are drives creative systems thinking kinds of behavior. So optimizing potential without exceeding limits is a critical principle. We're all in this together. It's another big idea. We're interdependent on one another and on the natural systems. Again, another non-negotiable. Reciprocity, it's not optional. In the context of interdependence, self-interests are best served through the development of mutually beneficial relationships. Enlightened self-interest, some people would call it. And we have a shared understanding of how to get to our self-interest in light of interdependence. We're all responsible. Everything we do and everything we don't do makes a difference. So we believe that thinking that those are some of the fundamental enduring understandings or frames that can have the potential of driving a different kind of behavior that can result in a different set of outcomes.